To Pretoria, where suspended public protector advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane arrived for work today, but she never made it into the Hillcrest Office Park. Mkhwebane, of course, has been the subject of an inquiry in Parliament on her fitness to hold office. This is after a number of court rulings went against her findings. Mkhwebane announced yesterday that she intends to return to the office before her term ends on the 14th of October, now that the inquiry has finished its work. Well, I'm joined now by eNCA reporter Moloko Moloto, who was also at the Hillcrest Office Park today in Pretoria. So, Moloko, talk to me about, first of all, what you saw, what happened, but also what she says about why she believes she was entitled to go back to the office today.
Good evening, Sally Badet. Well, yesterday, suspended public protector advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane took to social media to announce, she put up a media alert there to say that she will be reporting for duty today on Tuesday. She has indicated that she wrote a letter to the President of the Republic informing him that her suspension, as far as her understanding and her interpretation of the law is concerned, has been lifted. This she bases on the fact that the inquiry by Section 194 Committee of the National Assembly has wrapped up its work. It has made its recommendation to the National Assembly. We know that they are saying that she must be removed, she's incompetent and all that. Of course, the National Assembly will still have to debate and vote either in support or against that recommendation only on Monday. So today she came to her office. You would recall that the Office of the Public Protector is located within what they call the Hillcrest Office Park. So there are various offices for various organizations there. So there are two entrances, and the one that is being used, I suppose, by the workers who work in those various offices, that's when she arrived just before 11 o'clock this morning. And we arrived there very early, at about 7 o'clock, because we expected her to be there to report for duty at 8, like everybody else. And we saw the people there, I suppose it's management of the office park, beefing up security at the entrance, even bringing female security personnel, an indication that it was going to be difficult for her to have access. And at just before 11, when she arrived, she headed towards that particular gate, but then they started to regroup, and one manager responsible for security in the Office of the Public Protector also emerged, approached her. It would appear that he was going to stop her, and then she decided not to proceed, and then she came to us as journalists. Then she said, in terms of the president's minutes, which were issued last year in June on the 9th, when the president suspended her, and indeed she is correct, because that is what the minutes are saying, that her suspension is pending the finalization of the inquiry that is conducted by Section 195
So
committee.
Pending the finalization of the inquiry,
yes,
not the entire process. So that's the loophole she found.
That is, yes, that's what the minutes are saying. However, the president immediately yesterday, after he received the letter, he wrote a letter to her to say, in terms of Section 195 of the Constitution, which outlines the procedure of suspending and removing the head of the Chapter 9 institution, including the Public Protector, from office, once the committee recommends, the National Assembly must take a resolution, vote for or against, and he, as the president, must therefore, on the basis of that recommendation, decides on the way forward. So the president is saying, hold your mules. You are not entitled to go back to your office until this process reaches finality from the National Assembly to me as head of state. But let's listen to Advocate Mkhwebane.
The letter is very clear on legal advice. We deliberated with my legal team, and it's very clear that the president, in performing his responsibilities, taking decisions in terms of Section 101 of the Constitution, they issue a presidential minute. And I said presidential minute is very, very important. You know, if it was in the letter, we would talk something else, that possibly, you know what, the president has acted, and but now the letter is different to the presidential minute. Hence I said, correct the presidential minute, or make sure that we have the courts to interpret that But then I wouldn't want to waste resources to go to the courts because the late Dina Jumat Peterson said it herself that the courts are with Ramaphosa. It's not me. It's their MP.
All right, so when she met with resistance, she let it go, essentially. And as you've explained, the president has a very different view. But there was also, she had words about her deputy. Of course, we know that Koleka Tlaleka is a shoe-in to become the next public protector when this current term ends in the middle of October. What did Busisiwe Mkhwebane say?
Quickly before that, Sally, which is a very important point, I think, she arrived there, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, driven by her husband in their private vehicle. She told the media that yesterday, upon releasing that media alert, she received information that the authorities' leadership within the SAPS instructed her protectors. You would recall, as head of Chapter 9 institution, she receives VIP protection services from the SAPS. She says the protectors were instructed not to transport her to the offices of the public protector because they believed that the police, which are those protectors, must not get involved in what she wanted to do, and they could not be held responsible for whatever eventuality. So she came there with her husband, and she said, look, I'm not going to force my way in. She addressed us, and then she left. So I asked to say, you'd recall there was a statement after her media alert last night by the Office of the Public Protector, issued by the deputy who is acting in her position, Advocate Tlaleka, who indicated that as far as we know, Busisiwe Mkhwebane is not an employee of the Public Protector's Office, and her suspension is still effective considering the fact that it is the president who has to deal with that matter to see to its finality. So today she hit back. She's saying the same way Parliament never wanted to entertain issues of her suspension because that is the responsibility of the president, she should have kept quiet and not have spoken on issues of her suspension because she has nothing to do with her suspension. Let's listen to her.
You know, they should have kept quiet. I think the Deputy Public Protector has exposed herself. She has as well exposed what I was saying, that it's as if she's working with these persecutors, which is totally wrong. She should have kept quiet. She should have allowed the president to deal with this matter. I think even Parliament, they've said several times that, you know what, we don't interfere with the suspension. That's a presidential responsibility. Tina, we are here dealing with the inquiry. I mean, it's so embarrassing. And as well, it shows that it means she is, you know what, she's accused of being a president protector because she can't be doing that. Who's paying me? The president said I'm suspended with full benefits, everything, allowances and everything, the protection and everything. Now she comes back and say I'm not an employee. Indeed, I'm accountable to Parliament, but this institution, I'm its executive authority. So, and you are paying my salary, you are paying everything, but you are saying such things. I think she should have just kept quiet and not entertained all this.
Sorry, Advocate, if you are so convinced that your interpretation of the law is correct, are you not then going to challenge this, or perhaps challenge what police have said to you, seeing as you say, well, I'm in the right here, I'm allowed to be here, I want to return to work? So surely you would challenge that in the correct forum then.
You know what, members of the public, remember going to court again, it's resources, and I'm labeled this person who's just very arrogant, or I'm exercising my rights. I don't think I will have to go and challenge that, but only what I would say, because I've responded to the president, and I even acknowledged yesterday, I said, you know what, possibly is also wrongly advised, and this perpetuation in the media by mainstream media that I'm incompetent, I don't know the law, and the interpretation which is wrongly used. Unfortunately, I would say to the president, redraft that presidential minute, because I said presidential minute supersedes the letter which he wrote.
All right. So, I mean, the reality is that all this is coming to a head. On Monday, the National Assembly is going to vote. We know that the ANC is going to vote that she should be impeached. Pretty sure the DA is going to vote the same. That's going to mean that she will be impeached. Bearing in mind she's got about a month left in office, you could just sort of go, well, why not just leave it? Why go to all this trouble? Why is it important?
It's a very pertinent and difficult question to answer, Sally. You're correct. They made it clear, those who want her out in the National Assembly, that they want to impeach her. They simply cannot wait for her term to come to an end on the 14th of October. I am not really very clear on the law as to what will happen should she be impeached. Does it mean she will lose certain benefits? I doubt she will lose her pension.
Maybe it's reputational damage as well,
yes,
though.
Considering the fact that she possibly would still want to stand for another public office at some point, it would appear that if she's impeached, she may not hold a public office in the future. But I really speak under correction here. But we also had the president issuing out a statement earlier today saying that the public protector really must respect the constitutional processes that are currently going on in Parliament.
Very interesting. And, of course, Monday next week, going to be very interesting indeed to see what goes on in Parliament. Thank you so much, Moloko Moloto, for bringing us up to speed.